You've likely heard that starting small is the best way to build healthy habits. There's James Clear's 2 minute rule, making a new habit take 2 minutes or less. BJ Fogg has a whole book on tiny habits. So if you're starting with all this small stuff, how do you actually get to the big stuff? Well, stick around because I'm going to cover 2 strategies to grow your habits. Before I do though, if you are liking my channel, this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell to be notified every time I release a new video so you don't miss a thing. And if you are new here, welcome. I am Coach Mack, the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women feel like themselves again, one small step at a time using fitness. All right, so you've got these healthy habits in place, but they are tiny, right? Just like I told you to start, just like the other habit gurus told you to start small. But now you are ready to challenge yourself. So how do you do it? First, let me say that inkling to challenge yourself is 100% natural. This is why I recommend people start small, is because it's not going to stay small. And so because you're here watching this video, you know that and are ready to grow your habits. If you are new to my world, you will not know yet that I love gardening. I'm a huge gardening nerd, so I have all kinds of analogies for life and health and habits that are garden analogies. So I am whipping one of those out today for the 2 strategies to grow your habit. In this case, specifically, I'm going to be referring to habits just like I would plants. And so the 2 ways to grow your habits are the same way that plants grow. They grow big and tall, or they divide and multiply out. And so we can use that same strategy, those 2 strategies for growing our habits, depending on what the habit is and how you want to approach it, how you want to grow it. So this first strategy is how we typically think of plants growing. They grow tall, they go wide, they fill out, they get bushier, they get thicker. That is also what we are going to do with our habit. In this case, let's say you want to run a mile. When I first started, I couldn't run a full mile. So this would have been the strategy that I used. So let's say I can run a quarter mile. That's fine because we're going to systematically work your way up. You cannot go from only being able to run a quarter mile today to running a mile tomorrow. There needs to be some in between. And just like plants, it's going to take some time. So if you are currently running a quarter of a mile, let's say it takes you 2.5, 3 minutes, right? Maybe the next day you add on 15, 20, 30 seconds. And maybe you try that again the next day and the next day. You might not be able to add that same amount every day, but you can add a little bit more each day so that you are getting a little bit further. Your habit is growing a little bit more each day until finally, and this could be weeks later, it could be months later, but you get to your mile goal. Just like a plant goes in the springtime from a little thing to in the fall, it's this big giant plant and you're like, whoa, how did this even happen? The same thing will happen with your habits. If you add little by little by little, you will turn around a few months later and be like, whoa, I'm all the way here? Yes, you are. And that is why we start small and build from there. Nature has it figured out for us. We just need to pay attention. Another example of this first strategy, I'm going to refer to habit stacking because it is one of my favorite ways to build new habits. So a perfect example, again, a personal example from me, every time I use the restroom, I do push-ups. I started out doing 2 push-ups every time. And then I worked my way up to 3, and then 4, and then 5. I've capped it at 5 just because that's my threshold for I don't really feel like doing it anymore. But so in this case, a very similar thing where just like a plant, I grew my habit little by little by little. And that going from 2 all the way to 5 took roughly 14 months. Months to go from 2 to 5. Yeah, months, 14 of them. Can you believe that? But now I am doing 40 to 50 push-ups every single day because of that habit stack. And it makes sense that I'm rounding up here, going on the high end, but it makes sense that doing 50 push-ups per day took me 14 months to get there. Yeah, because it's a lot of push-ups. So it takes time. But if you start small and build up methodically, you will get to your result. You will get to your goal, the thing that you want to have happen. It will come. We just have to be patient. So that was strategy number 1, growing tall, growing wide, making our habit grow by increasing reps, increasing time, whatever the thing is, making it grow, that one habit grow. Another way, again, taking from our plant example, another way that plants grow is they multiply. So they spread out. They will, I think it's called reseeding themselves. So they basically drop their new seeds and then new plants grow up. So we can do the same thing with our healthy habits. By this, I mean we can create several habits throughout our day. So maybe we start with one habit stack. In the morning, I take my vitamins with my coffee. Maybe that's your habit stack that you want to start with. And then maybe you have another habit stack like a couple weeks later or a couple months later that you want to start. And you start growing these habits so that throughout your day, you have little tidbits of healthy stuff built into your day. You're multiplying your habits throughout the day to make it easier on yourself. Rather than doing one thing all at once, you are spreading it out over the course of your day so that it feels easy. It doesn't take up very much time. And again, you're adding them incrementally. So you're building slowly. And you might look up a year, or like in my case, 14 months, if it takes that long to implement some of these habits. But you look up in 14 months and your lifestyle is totally different. You wouldn't even recognize yourself from 14 months ago. And it's all because these incremental changes, these little habits that you designed, that you placed throughout your day, and you kept growing them. Once it was habitual, once it was routine, then it was time for another one. Once that one's routine, habitual, then it's time for another one. And you just keep multiplying your habits. Using versions of our previous examples, say that you want to start increasing your step count. Rather than, if you have a goal, say, of 10,000 steps per day, rather than feeling like you have to just keep increasing the time that you're going let's say you walk once a day, then you would have to increase your time very substantially in order to get to your end goal of walking 10,000 steps. But if we use the multiplication or the proliferation rule, we can start building them into our day. Maybe you go for a 5-minute walk after breakfast. Maybe you go for a 5-minute walk after lunch. Maybe you go for a little bit bigger walk after work. Maybe you go for another 5 or 10-minute walk in the evening. Things like that, where you can build these little pockets of walking into your day. So you multiplied the times of day that you are walking, and then those become your way of building up your habit of getting steps in. So it doesn't have to be that all of your habits are different stuff, different things. It can be the same habit, the same goal of, say, again, getting 10,000 steps per day. It can be the same thing. Again, with my habit stack, my push-up habit stack, if I wanted to do 50 push-ups per day, but I just don't use the restroom enough times, I can stack it onto something else that I do. Maybe after every time I check my email, I do a couple push-ups. So then I use my restroom habit stack and my email habit stack. So I multiplied my opportunities to get my habit in so that I get to my goal. Again, this can take weeks, if not months, depending on what your habit and your goal is. The hardest part about building our habits sustainably, that's the key with these two methods, is they are sustainable. They will keep you going, keep you progressing, keep you improving, and they will get you to your goal. But the hardest part about these sustainable strategies is that we have to be patient. We want results yesterday. But if you go all in, if you go from 0 to 100, it's not sustainable. It's not going to last, and you're not going to get to your goal. However, if you go from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on, you will get to 100. And it will be in a way that's sustainable, a way that fits into your lifestyle, and one that you can enjoy. Nobody likes going from 0 to 100. It's a huge change, and it kind of sucks. So you can systematically grow your habits so that it is built into your lifestyle, making these habits and these changes so much easier. And speaking of an easy habit, I have one for you if you have been wanting to get moving more. So I have a free Fit in 5 5-day challenge where I ask you to just move your body for 5 minutes for 5 days in a row. How simple is that, right? It's going to get the ball rolling. It will get you started. It has all the things you need it to set yourself up for success and start this habit small so that then you can grow it even after the challenge is over. You can carry on, you can sustain it, and reach your goals. So I'll put the link in the description box below. Sign up, and I will be in your inbox soon.